Hey guys, welcome back. It is Wednesday morning. Hope you guys are having a freaking awesome day. Today we're going to be doing a video on farming. I've had multiple people requesting a video on what I farm in order to keep my characters leveled up and keep my resources as built up as possible. So this is going to be a kind of two-part farming guide. We're going to go over what I farm from a free-to-play perspective. I'm also going to go over the things that are the best bang for your buck if you are spending a little bit of a budget to maintain your farming needs. So it's going to be twofold. So for anybody out there that is only free to play, we're going to go over the stuff that I do there. And then we're also going to touch on all of the different offers that are going to keep your resources built up if you are spending and using a little bit of a budget to maintain your character levels. So let's jump into it and get started. We're going to start here within the game. And of course, we're going to go over what I'm doing on a daily basis, the chores that I am going through every day to keep my resources built up, just like you guys. Now, of course, you want to jump in and do your challenges. You want to complete all of your daily objectives every day because you are going to gain some resources through that. Now, outside of that, where you have some options. Okay, so particularly right now, of course, this is going to change from time to time depending on what's available in the game. Of course, right now, you need to be going into the Accursed Challenge daily, okay? Now, we did recently unlock Satana. However, I'm not farming any of this. I do not need any of these gear pieces in a big way whatsoever, so I'm skipping this. Now, you're going to have a couple different options here. This is what I'm farming every day. You're getting 15 opportunities to farm in here daily. So, essentially, 15 times 600 gold shards. That's a pretty big deal. So, you're looking at 9,000 total. So, what is that? 4.5 gold orbs a day. So right now, that's what I'm doing because I have plenty of training materials and I'm building up my gold because that seems to go really quickly. Now, with that being said, if you are a little bit short in training materials, you can come over here and do the 400 training materials instead of the gold. If you're short in both, split it up. You've got 15 opportunities in here daily. Do half and half. If you're a little bit shorter on training materials, do 8 on the training materials, do 7 on the gold orbs. This is going to, well, let's see. How long is this still going on? It looks like it ends in 6 hours. So I don't know if they're going to refresh this, so this could be a little bit late to the party, but that's what I've been doing in there. Now, of course, with the Red Phoenix, you've got a couple different options in here as well. This is going to count towards the leaderboard that's currently going on. But I have been farming this node right here for the ability orb fragments because the one thing that I'm always short on are T4 materials. So, and when that is up, I've been jumping down here to the first node and farming the gold. Now, with that being said, if you jump into the campaigns, this seems to be constant. I don't know how long they're going to continue this, but you're always going to have showcases available to farm resources. So this is one of the places where I use core refreshes every single day. So what I'm farming currently, as we discussed, is I'm going into the Victoria Hand node. And I'm farming on stage 1, the very last node, and farming the gold orbs. Now, every day, I am doing core refreshes in here to farm as much of this gold material as possible. And then in the Helverine node, I'm doing the same exact thing. I'm farming the gold in here. Now, with that being said, if you are needing training materials, I believe you can get them in the Songbird node. Yes. If you go into the first chapter on Songbird, you can farm the training materials if that's something that's more important to you right now. And then I think it's Hood with the Accursed that gives you the training materials as well. Yes. So you've got options there. Depending on what your resource management is looking like and what you're needing, you've got options here. These are the nodes that I recommend that you do core refreshes on. I do them every single day. Of course, I'm doing the gold, but that's going to give you that option. And then right now, we also have, for another 5 days, you've got Enter the Age of Annihilus. Now, you've got multiple options here. Again, I am core refreshing in here because this isn't going to last forever and you're getting more materials. So I have been farming 1-2 for gold. But if you're needing training materials, you can do 1-1. And I believe there are another 2 nodes. Okay, 1-6 for training and 1-7 for gold. So you've got those options in here. If you are coring and doing refreshes to gain resources, this is where I'm using mine. Now, when it comes to regular campaigns on a daily basis, I'm going into the Nexus and I do 1 through 6, the very last node. So 6, 9, 5, 9, 4, 9. I come in here every day, knock these out, drop down to 5. They rotate. So 6 is gold, 5 is training. And I do this every day. This does 2 things for me. 1, it gets me the campaign energy spend that I need for, the strike pass. And it also consistently, daily, builds up my resources for gold and training materials. So that's what I do every single day. And of course, you're going to be doing the other nodes that we discussed multiple times a day as your energy refreshes. Now, with that being said, you've got multiple other options when it comes to resources if you have any type of budget, okay? Now, like I told you before, we'll kind of jump in here and I'll give you an idea of where I'm setting. So you can see I have a ton of training materials, okay? Now, one of the reasons why I have so many training materials is because I am consistently going into the store every day and going into the arena, and I core refresh myself. Now, you may not have as many shop credits as I do, so make sure that you're using a budget that is going to consistently allow you to keep store credits. I do not recommend that you just run all of your shop credits dry in here, refreshing this every time. And of course, you also have to maintain your cores based on what you're using them for. If you're free to play and you use your cores to core new characters when they come out, then you need to make sure that you're being aware of how many cores you're refreshing a day so that you're not constantly at 0 on your cores, so that you can build up a little bit of a store in order to grab those new characters when they release. But if you are placing decently in arena and you're getting anywhere from 300 to 500 power cores a day through arena, then take a look at that and make a decision for yourself what makes sense for you to budget. So if you are coring, my recommendation, if you're coring new characters when they come out because you're free to play and you don't spend, I would recommend picking one thing and doing 3 core refreshes on it a day. That's still going to allow you to build up your surplus of power cores, but also maintain a consistent growth in your resources. Now in here, if you do have the additional shop credits, every single time the store refreshes, I come in here and I do the 3 refreshes of 50 and I buy these every single refresh. However, I do not spend shop credits on anything else. So I'm not running through my shop credit budget by doing that. So just maintain a healthy shop credit, because you may still be grabbing character shards in here. So just use good judgment on that. Don't run yourself empty on shop credits or power cores. Use a good assessment on how your account is looking, how your resources are looking, and spread that out so that it's going to benefit you the best. Now, with that being said, if you do have a little bit of a budget, okay, I'm going to jump over to MarvelStrikeForce.com and I'm going to show you the best bang for your buck when it comes to filling up your account with some additional resources for a rainy day for not a whole lot of money. So we're going to jump over here real quick and take a look at this. Let's switch up the screens here. All right. So we are over here at the MarvelStrikeForce.com website, and we're going to jump into the store. All right, and we are going to scroll down. Now, here is the deal. When you unlock a brand new character, there are offers that are offered within the store on MarvelStrikeForce.com that are without a doubt, on average, the best offers that you're going to come across for resources. Okay? So, we recently unlocked Satana. Okay? So, with that being said, we are going to have these unlock offers that have popped up on MarvelStrikeForce.com. Now, if you are low on gold, this is a really, really good offer. With 24,000 gold orbs and 36 million for $50, if you spend $100 on this offer and buy both, you're going to, on average, come out with around 80 to 85 million gold for $100. That is the best deal that I have seen so far on average. Now, can Scopely drop something crazy every now and then, like they did a couple weeks ago, where you were getting, I don't remember, 30 million gold for $10? Yes, they can. But on average, these are going to be your best offers. This is absolutely your best offer when it comes to L4 training materials. On the unlock offer, you can buy 2,200 of the L4 training materials for $30. You're never going to see a better offer than this on L4 training materials. Again, unless Scopely has some type of event or celebration where they release some crazy good deal. So, if you are always short on L4 training materials and you do have a little bit of a budget, this is my recommendation. As I was building up my account, this right here is how I got all of my characters leveled up, because every time I unlocked a new character, I was buying all 5 of these because it was giving me the capability, because I'm a newer player. I've only been in the game for about 10 months. So this was giving me the capability to stay on track with the new teams that we're releasing while still having enough materials to bring up some of those older teams that are still part of the meta, like the Annihilators, the Night Stalkers, those types of teams that were released before I started playing the game, that gave me the capability to still bring those characters up while bringing up the new releases that were coming out at the same exact time. Now, when it comes to T4s, okay, this is a little bit of, this is a problem for me. I have never bought T4s. And I think that's probably why I'm constantly battling having enough of them. Because I have never to this day, seen an offer that I think is actually a fair offer for T4s. I do not think $50 for 500 T4s is a fair offer. I personally think it is absurd. I think for $50 you should be getting minimum 2,000 T4s. Because the rate that we're, excuse me, the rate that we are getting access to them in the game, this price just is not remotely justifiable. So it is the best offer that I've seen for T4s. So if you don't care and you spend like a whale and it doesn't matter to you, your main goal is just to max out your characters, this is going to be your best bang for your buck. However, I will never recommend that you purchase this offer because I still don't think it's a fair offer. So when it comes to T4s, here is what I am doing with T4s. So of course we have different opportunities to get T4s in the game all the time, but this is the main place where I'm getting T4s, and this is very important that you are consistently doing this. This is why raid teams are so important. Rewards. We need to go into the nodes. And I could be in the wrong raid too. I am absolutely in the wrong raid. So in the Spotlight raid, let's jump into a couple of these nodes. So on all of the boss nodes in here, I think it's this one. Has this one already been completed? Yes, it has. On all of the boss nodes within the Spotlight, you do get the opportunity to get T4s. And here is your main source. You get 30 for finishing, and then you get 20,000, which is 10 of the ability orbs. So this is a huge deal. You have to consistently complete your raids every single day so that you can get these payouts, because these will build up. Essentially, if you're doing your raids every day, they will stay on track with you being able to put about 2 T4s on every new released character that comes out, as long as you're not going back putting T4s on anyone else. So you've got to stay consistent in your raids on the Spotlight raid in order to continually get those fragments and those T4s so that you can use those T4s on the new characters when they release. Now, you're not getting enough T4s in the game to put all 4 T4s on every character release, but it comes out to roughly about 2 per character release. So stay diligent when it comes to that, and then anytime you get the opportunity, kind of like we went over earlier, you get the opportunity to farm this stuff. Like I told you, I am farming this node with these every single day. Now, I'm not doing any core refreshes in here because you only get 10 attempts on each of these nodes. So one refresh on these nodes is 100 power cores, because you have to refresh the node as well as your energy. So I don't recommend that you do refreshes in here because you're doubling up. So you see here, we have to refresh the node, which is 50. And then we also have to refresh your energy. So every time you do that, you're dropping 100 power cores. So this is not something that I recommend doing, but if you have a ton of power cores and you're low on T4s, it might be something that's worth it to you. All right, so with that being said, I don't know if I left anything out. If you feel like I left anything out, let me know down in the comments. But one other thing I want to touch on, this is not any particular farming, but you want to be completing all of your objectives in the command center, because you are going to be getting the opportunity to get a lot of resources in here. The resources aren't constant. They change but they're always going to be resources that you can use. And then one other place to go check out is the Intel store. Me personally, right now, I'm buying diamonds. I had about 650,000 Intel yesterday, and I bought Daredevil's second diamond and Hitmonkey's third diamond. And I'm going to be saving up the rest of my Intel until I can put the third diamond on Daredevil. Then I'm going to drop back down, and I'm going to start buying more of the G20s. However, if you are a newer player, okay, if you have been in the game 1 to 5 or 6 months, and you're not anywhere close to getting Professor X, here's the thing. Use the Intel store the best way that it fits your account. Just because every streamer that you watch, and myself included, are typically buying G20 all the time, that doesn't mean that's what's best for you. If you're 6 months away from getting your characters up to G20 to even have a chance to go in Professor X, but right now you can't level your characters because you don't have enough training modules, then don't listen to us streamers. Use your Intel that's going to best fit your needs for your account. I know I've heard a lot of streamers say that buying L4s and T4 abilities in the Intel store is crazy and a complete waste. Well, I'm here to tell you that for where my account is at, it is a complete waste for me to spend my Intel on T4s and L4 training modules. However, if I were level 80 right now, and I was doing everything I could to level up my tunes, and I can't because I don't have enough training modules, then I'm going to tell you buying G20 in here is a complete waste of time for me because I'm not going to have access to it for another 4 or 5 months. So use your Intel in here to buy the stuff that's going to progress your account. If you're low on L4 training modules and you're 6 months away from getting into Professor X, then use your Intel to buy training modules in here. Use your Intel to buy T4 abilities so that you can bring up your arena team so that you can place higher and get yourself more power cores daily so that you can progress your account more over the long term. So if I could give you any advice about farming, do what's best for your account. Don't listen to anyone else about what they're doing. Take that information and put that information in an active plan that works for your account. So I can tell you right now, if I were a lower level account, if I started a new account today in the Intel store, I would be buying training modules and T4 abilities every single refresh, without a doubt. I would not be worried about G4 material or G20 materials at all, because that's something that's long in the future. And here's the deal. The longer we get away from the release of Professor X, the more G20 is going to become plentiful. So there's no sense in you wasting your valuable Intel right now on material that you're going to have available to you very, very readily 4 or 5 months from now. So please, please, please buy the things in the shops. They're going to be beneficial for your account. Now, with that, guys, I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover. If I missed something, if you guys do something a little different for your farming, drop that stuff down in the comments. Let's get a conversation going down there from a bunch of different perspectives so that we can help everyone in the community. Sometimes my perspective is a little bit tunneled because I do have an in-game account. I try to look at everything from an open-minded perspective to help all the players, but sometimes maybe my perspective can be a little jaded. So for any of you guys out there that are newer, that are going through this right now and having to make those decisions, let's get a discussion in the comments so that everyone can benefit from that knowledge. Guys, if you got some value from this, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, slap that bell around, Share it with a friend if you think it's something that can help them. And until the next video, guys, stay positive and enjoy the game.